it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WWE Headlines. Yes, that's right. That is a new theme song for WWE Headlines right here in the Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. Your Canadian wrestling podcast that talks about the WWE and no holds barred on anything we say, pun intended. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at NoHoldsBarredWP. You can go ahead and follow myself at Real Kyle Masters as well, and you can go ahead and follow my co-host at Corbra Cappy on Twitter. If you want to follow us on Instagram, NoHoldsBarredWP is where you can find us on there. If you want to listen to us on the go, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Spreaker is where you can find us. Spreaker is a glorious podcast app that is available for all Android and Apple devices. It is free to download and free to make a profile. You can chat with us when we're live on the air, or you can listen to all previous episodes of the podcast as well. If you want to watch any video versions of the podcast, youtube.com/NHBWR is where you can find us on there. You can find unboxings, 2K content, and again, video versions of the podcast. So go hit that subscribe button, that bell icon for all upload updates. I'm your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host of WWE Headlines. And guys, welcome to part number 1, episode number 10 for this weekend. And we have a big story, if you've seen on Twitter as I tweeted out. Is the WrestleMania 34 main event in jeopardy, and is it in jeopardy of being canceled? I got some news about that. Also, on today's episode, we are going to talk about, as I scroll down here, we're going to talk about the current rumored plans for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. I'm not really a big fan of it, so let me know what you guys think when I read over that. We also got some news on reasons why Ty Dillinger is being kept off TV. I know a lot of people are wondering why and where the Perfect 10 is on SmackDown lately. We have a news about Bobby Lashley to potentially win a big match in 2018's WWE schedule. I have some news about that. And we also have an update on the Iconic Duo. I know a lot of people wondering where they are as well. So that is the news for today in part number 1. Right before we get into part number 1, guys, got to get through these as always. Go check out WrestleRumble.com. Guys, they do a fantastic pick'em contest, and they actually have one for Fastlane this time. WrestleRumble.com, or you can follow them on Twitter at WrestleRumble. They are doing a Fastlane pick'em contest, and if you're watching the video version of this podcast, it's now on the screen for you guys. Pools to enter the Fastlane pick'em contest are open. Prizes are first place, any championship belt of your choice, and 50 MVP points. They do hand out MVP points for their MVP standings, so once you go on to the website, you'll see what that's all about. 2nd to 5th place get 50 points for the MVP standing, 6th to 10th, 45, 11th to 15th, 40, and 16th to 20th place get 35 points. So if you win first place, you get to choose any championship belt of your choosing. They got a big picture there full of championship belts. You'll get the actual replica belt. So don't want to miss this, guys. Enter in the Fastlane Pick'em contest. Also, guys, I want you guys to go check out Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand, t-shirt brand. Guys, go check them out on their website, www.collarandelbowbrand.com. They are a fantastic wrestling-based clothing line, and they are very, very comfortable clothing. I'm told that the sweaters are really comfortable, so go check those out. It is run and CEO'd by none other than former WWE superstar Al Snow, so he did put a lot of work into this, so go check it out. And I have a promo code for you guys to use, thanks to at JumboRef123 on Twitter. Use the promo code JUMBO on checkout, and you will save 10% on your order. So go and check them out, guys. Also, Extreme Wrestling Shirts, guys, www.extremewrestlingshirts.com. They specialize in pro wrestling and MMA apparel with over 50,000 t-shirts, sweatshirts, costumes, DVDs, and pendants all in stock. And the best part is it is free shipping to the U.S. and Canada. Yes, free shipping. All you have to do is pay for the item itself. If you live around the world and you're listening to this podcast, buy any 3 items and your shipping is free. But once you check out this website, you're going to want to buy 8. You're going to buy 10. You're going to buy almost the entire website. Trust me, guys. This is an awesome website. It's legit. I've ordered numerous times off this website. There's a couple unboxings on our YouTube channel if you want to go check them out. Really good quality. It's just as good quality as WWE Shop. The last shirt I won from them was a Just Bring It Rock t-shirt, and it's very, very comfortable. I think the material is a little bit better than WWE Shop, so I want you guys to go check them out as well. And yeah, that's it. Go check them out, guys. Go check out all those great sponsors. Other than that, let's get right into the news with the big article we'll start with today. WWE's very concerned over the WrestleMania 34 main event. So let's get into this and dive right into this. Dave Meltzer noted on the latest episode of the Wrestling Observer Radio, so it's Dave Meltzer. Again, guys, this is not a news source for you to come to. I just read the quote-unquote dirt sheets and the reports and any news, and I read them to you guys and I give you my opinion. I want to know your opinion out there, so let me know in the YouTube comments down below on YouTube or tweet us at NoHoldsBarredWP. That Braun Strowman was pulled from his match with the WWE Intercontinental Championship, The Miz, due to initial concern over the Brock Lesnar versus Reigns main event at WrestleMania 34. So, it is being noted that Strowman and Miz were likely to have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania for the IC title. Now Strowman is being pulled from that because of WWE very concerned over Lesnar and Reigns' situation. It was noted that the sports entertainment company wants to have a backup plan in case damaging evidence against Reigns may come out during the investigation of the filmmaker John Bravo is doing. As noted, Reigns was implicated in a steroid ring by jailed steroid dealer Richard Rodriguez, along with actors Mark Wahlberg and Josh Duhamel. Reigns has denied these accusations since. As of this writing right now, there is no word what Strowman will be doing at the biggest event of the year for WWE, but he could end up in a match with either Elias or the returning Samoa Joe. Yes, a lot of people forget that Samoa Joe, if you don't remember, he got injured in a match against Rhino. He injured his foot, but he's scheduled to come back in mid-March, which is perfect timing to have a smallish build with at least Strowman into a WrestleMania match. I'd love to see a Strowman and Samoa Joe match. I think that'd be pretty cool. And if you have nothing for them, I'd rather get them on the card than have them not on the card at all, especially because it's WrestleMania and how much Strowman has been doing good this year and how much build he's been getting. I think it's smart for them to actually include him on the card, whether it be a 2 or 3 week build, just get him on the card somehow. A lot of people actually would say that he would be added to the Universal Championship match. Now, stay with me here to have more of this article. So we got a huge update on the status of Brock Lesnar. After Roman Reigns won the Elimination Chamber match on Sunday, the WWE announced that Reigns and Universal Champion Brock Lesnar would meet face-to-face on Monday Night Raw on the road to WrestleMania this past Monday. However, this isn't what happened if you guys watched Raw this week. The WWE scripted Roman to come out to the ring and tell the crowd that Lesnar no-showed Raw and was hanging out with UFC head Dana White over the weekend. It helped Reigns deliver the best promo of his career, and the fans actually cheered for him. However, Sports Illustrated reports that there is more to this story. So here's more of the story about Brock Lesnar and his WWE contract. As the Inquisitor previously reported, the WWE had Roman Reigns shoot on Brock Lesnar to get WWE fans behind him, knowing that fans would boo Reigns if he stood face-to-face with Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw. However, the Inquisitor also reported that the WWE is worried about Lesnar playing ball at WrestleMania 34 and has a backup plan in case things do go south. So what is it that WWE is worried about? As most fans know, the contract between WWE and Brock Lesnar expires following WrestleMania 34. Most fans also know that Lesnar has stipulations in his contract that limits him to a number of shows that he works a year. As Sports Illustrated points out, Brock Lesnar has already hit all his contractual dates, and there is still over a month to go to WrestleMania 34. So if you guys know the Lesnar contract situation, he's only scheduled to appear at WWE for certain dates a year in his contract. It's now almost WrestleMania 34, and he's already lived up to those contractual dates. That's crazy, and we're literally a month away from WrestleMania 34, and this is supposed to be your main event. Brock does not have to show up on any single Monday Night Raw based on his contract. If he does, the WWE has to pay him more money. Oh, buddy. Oh, man. This is your main event, Vince? The guy that's contract has so many loopholes that he can choose not to show up on Raw for a build if he doesn't want to. Oh, man. Oh, they better have a backup plan ready to go because I see this main event crumbling day by day now. So, according to the report, Brock Lesnar is more interested in his next contract, whether it be with WWE or the UFC. As a matter of fact, Lesnar is reportedly more interested in his next contract that he is with WrestleMania 34, or than he is with WrestleMania 34 because he knows he is scheduled to lose that match to Roman Reigns. So basically saying Brock doesn't give a shit about the main event of WrestleMania 34 because he knows he's going to be dropping the title to Reigns anyways. So he's fixated on his next contract, which is probably more likely going to be the UFC. So, they want this as the main event of WrestleMania 34. When one guy gives two shits about being there, and he's literally going to another company. So literally this is just like WrestleMania 20. I've said this before. This is going to be like that WrestleMania 20 match, except only one guy's leaving. And As for Reigns, it's to him it sucks because it's more obvious now that he's going to win the title. So it's nothing to get like hype over. Like all the Reigns fans, like they know he's going to win. They can't sit there and get not hype for their man to win the title. So why is this your main event? If this is going to keep going this way, I would highly suggest they put this in the middle of the show, because to end WrestleMania this way, that's terrible. That's bad business and a bad booking decision in my eyes. You guys let me know out there. So what does this mean for Brock Lesnar in the WWE? Because Brock Lesnar has reached all his obligations outside of WrestleMania 34, he doesn't have to show up again until that event. That will make things tough for WWE to promote the match, and they will have to work strongly with Roman Reigns to keep him shooting on Lesnar so the fans won't immediately turn on him when the match comes. Now, I don't think they should just keep shooting, because that's just going to get stale over a while. You have 6 weeks to build till WrestleMania. If you really just have him come out and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, as much as it's going to seem cool, to me, it does nothing for me. It's like, okay, this is basically showing you that Lesnar doesn't give a fuck, so they have to resort to giving Roman Reigns a shoot promos week after week just to build this match. That's not main event worthy to me. Main event worthy for WrestleMania, both guys have to be in the ring at the same time, beat the shit out of each other, hype this match, shoot on each other. Don't just have one guy be there and one guy not show up. It's like, to me, that's just, you can do it once, but after a period of time, it just gets stale. Of course, there is another fear. Fans who remember the first time that Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg wrestled at WrestleMania. I remember. Remember the fans booing both men horribly. If Brock Lesnar does not re-sign with the WWE, there's a chance that the more vocal WWE fans will boo both men. Yes, that is legit what is going to happen. You guys have to listen to me. People are going to say that, oh no, now that Reigns is shooting more and Lesnar is more just kind of skipping Raw, people are going to boo Lesnar more than Reigns. You're talking about a WrestleMania crowd. You remember the Raw after WrestleMania last year. That was the same WrestleMania crowd. What did they do to Roman Reigns at the beginning of the show? They shit all over him. This is exactly what's going to happen at WrestleMania 34. If this is going to continue this way, both men are going to get booed out of the building. It's going to be terrible. It literally will be identical to that WrestleMania 20 match, but louder, because we're in a freaking 80,000-seat arena. I hope the WWE can see that, and if this does continue this way, they decide not to make this the main event of WrestleMania 34. If you want, push it to the co-main event. Put Styles and Nakamura in the main event. That's the true main event. Or if it does actually happen, I wouldn't mind Cena and Taker. I know a lot of people are going to shit all over that, but I wouldn't mind them ending off WrestleMania as long as it's a career versus career match, and that's literally the end of the dead man. We never see him again wrestle in WWE. He gets put in the Hall of Fame as the lead inductor next year, and that's it. But as for this, they really need to have a backup plan in place, because now, what if the steroid scandal does come out? What if this guy comes out and he has sufficient evidence enough to Roman Reigns has bought in steroids after the last time he got in trouble for them? Then he's in trouble. WWE has no way around it. They have to suspend Roman Reigns for 60 days. Now what do? Now you're just left with the Universal Champion who doesn't even want to fucking be there in the first place. So, like, literally, this is everything that's going wrong for WWE, and everything that they don't want to happen is happening. So, you know what I have in place? Have a guy that's really over right now, that's getting built up really good. Have him take Roman Reigns' place, win the title WrestleMania, and then you can set up something after WrestleMania. Now, a lot of you guys are going to think I'm going to say Braun Strowman. Yes, I would love Braun Strowman in the main event of WrestleMania to have for the Universal title shot. I just don't think this is his place for it. You know who they should be putting? Is Seth Rollins. I agree with, I don't remember who put it on Twitter a while ago, but they would rather have had Seth Rollins been added to this match as a triple threat, have him win the title, and set up a feud with Roman Reigns for 3 months leading up to SummerSlam this year. I think they should be doing the same thing. They should have Seth Rollins come into the place of Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns gets in trouble, win the title from Brock Lesnar. You know a lot of fans are going to get behind Seth Rollins, and it'll be just as good, and you're going to get at least a pop rather than Roman Reigns getting booed, and you can end off WrestleMania that way. Have Seth Rollins come out in the next night and just keep building until Roman Reigns comes back from a suspension. Have Roman Reigns come back, jump Seth Rollins, turn him heel or something. Do whatever you have to do. But set up a storyline where Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns go forward after that. I can't see it any other way. I mean, I could see Braun Strowman being added and replaced, but if Roman Reigns does get in trouble, I don't think that's going to be the main event of WrestleMania. They will have no other choice but to put Styles and Nakamura as your main event of WrestleMania. Send the fans home happy. You can have a big, giant celebration when Nakamura wins it, and it would just be a great ending to WrestleMania. I think that's the way they need to go. If not, then they better have something good in place. Because right now, the main event is crumbling. The Roman Empire is slowly crumbling. There's little holes in the Roman Empire. So we'll see what happens with that. You guys let me know out there. Let me know what would you do in case something were to happen. Would you put, if Reigns doesn't get in trouble, would you put Reigns and Lesnar as the main event if they continue to build this way with Lesnar not showing up and Reigns just shooting? Would you go that way? Or let me know also if Reigns does get in trouble, what would be your replacement WrestleMania main event match? Let me know down in the comments on YouTube or tweet at us at NoHoldsBarredWP. Excuse me. So let's get on to some more news here. The current rumored plans for the Intercontinental Championship. Oh, God, excuse me. Allergies are going nuts right now. The Miz is clearly on his way to becoming the greatest Intercontinental Champion in WWE history. He's having the best run of his career, which is not... You can't argue with that. You can't. Literally, The Miz is probably becoming one of the best heels of all time. And he will be rewarded with a WrestleMania 34 match. In the latest episode of Monday Night Raw, it seems that The Miz will defend his Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match against Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, but a new report suggests a different plan. Now, I would have gone with this original report. A triple threat with Rollins and Balor would be insane. Can you imagine the match that they could have at WrestleMania? That would probably be a show stealer. Now, with this new report, I'm guessing that's probably what they saw. They don't want it. I know deep down Vince doesn't want any other match to take away from Lesnar and Reigns. Even at this current state, Vince, though, wants that as the main event and everything surrounded around that. I wouldn't even go as far as he puts Styles and Nakamura as the first match of the goddamn show. Anyways, as recapped by WWE.com, The Miz was informed that he will defend the Intercontinental Championship title at WrestleMania, but his opponent is still unknown. Raw General Manager Kurt Angle put him in a match against Rollins, who ended up defeating the Intercontinental Champion. Rollins has been on a roll as of late, and he would benefit from a big match at WrestleMania 34. 100%. What Rollins has done lately has been incredible. You think about everything he's done lately, how much, like these long matches, a long gauntlet match he had, what he did in the Elimination Chamber. Rollins is on an extreme roll right now. He deserves nothing more than a big match at WrestleMania 34. However, Balor made his way to the ring right after the match, and he also faced off against The Miz. The Demon won the match despite being attacked by the Miztourage. Many fans have speculated that Rollins and Balor will challenge The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 34. But according to Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated, yes, Justin Barrasso, the same guy that's recently said that Rey Mysterio is going to be facing John Cena at WrestleMania. So I advise you to take it with a grain of salt. Please do not take what he says literally, and I don't take it, but it's still an interesting note. We'll see if it does come true. But Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated says The Miz is now scheduled to defend his IC title in a fatal 5-way match at WrestleMania 34. Like, we need more multi-man matches. Like big multi-man matches, like the Fastlane when we're about to get a 6-pack challenge. Like, can we get enough of that? Triple threat makes sense because of the 3 people involved. A 5-way, a fatal 5-way. Now listen to this. The opponents will be Rollins and Balor, but also Elias and Braun Strowman. Now, it makes sense because Elias is a little bit on the roll. He's involved in the picture somehow, and Braun Strowman is just on the beast roll as well. He deserves a big match, too. I would rather Braun Strowman go up against Samoa Joe, returning Samoa Joe, and just 2 beast guys going at it in the ring at WrestleMania. That's what it is. It's a showcase of the Immortals. Both these guys are basically immortal. I know you can't really say that with Samoa Joe injured, but both these guys are built up as 2 giant beasts, so I think they should be clashing at WrestleMania. But I really don't like the Fatal 5-Way idea. Not really a fan of that. Also, in this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, Elias and Braun Strowman had a match that ended in a disqualification. Elias used a fire extinguisher to get the advantage on Strowman, but it had no effect. The Drifter barely got away from the monster among men backstage as he ran away using a limousine. With the WWE main roster with the main roster full of many talented superstars, it's hard to get them all on the WrestleMania 34 card. How? WrestleMania is like an 8-hour event. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. A triple threat match involving The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor for the IC title is really good on paper, as they all have history with each other. All 3 men have momentum, and they could really steal the show when given the opportunity. On the other hand, Elias and Strowman are the 2 best, hottest acts on WWE today, along with Rusev. The 2 superstars deserve to be in WrestleMania 34 main card, but Elias would not benefit from a feud with Strowman. There's also the fact that Samoa Joe could be coming back for WrestleMania 34, and it could make this title scene a little crowded, just like the WWE Championship picture on SmackDown Live. It should be noted these are just rumors at the moment and nothing has been confirmed. Take it with a grain of salt, especially take it with a grain of salt. But all the signs are pointing towards Miz defending the IC title at WrestleMania against multiple WWE superstars. He is one title win away from tying Chris Jericho's record for the most reigns in WWE history and is about 70 days away from breaking Pedro Morales' 619 combined days as Intercontinental Champion. So again, I would go the triple threat way. I think The Miz, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins makes a lot more sense than a fatal five-way match. Fatal five-way match is just too crowded, especially for WrestleMania. Triple threat just makes sense. Again, you need more than one match on the card for it to be a show-stealing event. These guys could definitely boost up that WrestleMania. You shouldn't be just surrounding WrestleMania on one match in the Reigns and Lesnar match. WrestleMania is the big event. It's the Super Bowl. You're supposed to have more than one factor in it to make it a great event. This is not a little pay-per-view, a B-level pay-per-view where you can surround it on the main event. No, I think this would be a good idea to have Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and The Miz. The story just tells itself with these three. The history is there. Have a triple threat match. Have it an epic match. As for a winner, I wouldn't even know who to pick in that match. It literally could go any of the three ways. But and definitely have the Demon Balor come out at WrestleMania as well. As for the Fatal 5-Way match, I really don't like that. It's too crowded, as the word they put in this article. So, you guys let me know out there. What would you do? Would you do the Fatal 5-Way or would you do the Triple Threat? I know there's going to be a lot of answers to Triple Threat, but maybe there's some of you out there that actually agree with the Fatal 5-Way match. I want to know why. So let me know down in YouTube comments or tweet at us at NoHoldsBarredWP. So interesting title picture for the IC title coming up. It's going to be definitely interesting to see what they do with it. Next bit of news, rumored reason why Ty Dillinger is being kept off TV. And I really want to know why, because Ty Dillinger is our hometown hero, me and Corporate Cappy. We've been wanting to see this guy have a successful run, as he's had so many successful ins and outs of the WWE since 2006. I just want this guy to be successful, and he found a gimmick, pun intended, perfect gimmick for himself that could get over with the fans. I just don't know why they won't push him. Like he was doing so good at NXT. He was getting so over with the NXT crowd, and they're like, okay, well, let's bring him up to SmackDown. They had a couple of pre-show matches and stuff, and then they just really dumped him to the side. I don't understand. This guy could literally be a very over superstar on the main roster. It could be a competitive mid-carder. But why they don't use him? Let's find out why he's being kept off TV, the rumored reason. In 2017, Ty Dillinger fulfilled the dreams of many diehard NXT fans when he entered the Royal Rumble at number 10. Pretty much the only option for the man who calls himself the Perfect 10. Like Tyler Breeze before him, Dillinger rode a wave of fan love and loyalty all the way to Can't Miss gimmick and the simplest pro wrestling catchphrase since the Yes Chant. Despite his big Rumble debut, it was still a few more months before his official call-up to the main roster as a part of the SmackDown Live roster, and still another month again after for him to fulfill his NXT obligations. Since being a WWE full-time roster spot player, Dillinger hasn't done a heck of a lot. He's had a low-level feud with Baron Corbin and a few United States Championship shots, but other than that, nada. Dillinger was slated to enter this year's Royal Rumble at number 10 once more, but he was jumped backstage, and Sami Zayn took his spot in the match. He tried to get payback, but was instead beaten by Baron Corbin. And then the most he's been on television in months. And that actually has been the most he's been on television in months. According to the recent episode of the Wrestling Observer Radio, the word is why Dillinger has been kept off television. Now, brace yourselves. After I read this, I'm like, okay, they can't be that stupid, or can they? It's because WWE doesn't like fans chanting 10. Right. They don't like fans chanting 10. You've got to be kidding me. Okay, this is a quote from Dave Meltzer. Dillinger is just a guy on the brand that works prelims, and they put him at 10 in the Rumble, and it makes for a cute minute for people to chant 10, which WWE doesn't even want people to chant anyway. That's why they keep him off TV so much, because they don't want people chanting 10. So the whole thing is completely stupid. Now, Dave Meltzer is saying it's completely stupid. A guy who's had some questionable decisions as of late, he says it's completely stupid. It is completely stupid. So you're telling me because you don't want fans to chant 10, but you keep the Perfect 10 gimmick on him, you don't want the fans to chant 10? That's his whole thing. So you didn't want the crowd chanted yes all the time, but you kept doing that. You even make Miz do it, because Miz literally copies Daniel Bryan's aneurysms, and they still have the crowd chant yes. Even for anybody that does kicks like that, they chant yes. But you didn't stop pushing Daniel Bryan. What about the what chants? And a lot of people think that's even annoying. The what chants? Did they stop that? No. I don't understand what the hate is for Ty Dillinger and the 10 thing. Like they find it so annoying too when the refs counting the crowd saying 10. The crowd is having fun. Let the crowd have fun. That is why they're at the event. That's what they paid good money to pay you to have fun at the event. But now you're depriving them of that fun. That doesn't make any sense. So you're not pushing a guy who can potentially be over, draw in merchandise sales, draw in crowd reactions, draw in ratings as a top mid-card person. You're denying him that because you don't like the crowd chanting 10. That has to be the most childish and stupidest reason I have ever heard for not pushing a guy. I hope this is fake. I really hope this is fake and it's not true, and there's another reason why he's not being put on TV, and maybe it's just like creatively they have nothing for him. When, you know what, I could think of a lot of things they could be doing for him, but they really choose not to do that way. And we know there's a lot of creative decisions on SmackDown that are really poor as of late. But I really hope this is not the real reason why they're not pushing Ty Dillinger, because literally he could just benefit for going right back to NXT, because I know Triple H would push him the right way. I know he would get the crowd reactions that everyone would love to have. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense if this is true. I really hope that this is not true. I'm praying to God that we get a new report for this, because if not, there you really have to rethink how you think things and how you want to push people. Like, clearly they don't know, because we have clearly Rusev Day being the most over thing on WWE television that never gets pushed and getting buried right now. Sorry for someone getting over on their own. I don't know if isn't that like the mentality you give these wrestlers in the first place? You're like, the only way you're getting pushed in this company is you get over with the fans. You get over with the fans, they're like, no, we're going to push you to the side because you're getting over with the fans. It doesn't make sense. It's like they're contradicting themselves. So, you know what? I really hope it's not true. Bottom line. Some more news here. Bobby Lashley, who's a recent signee of WWE, to win a big match on this year's pay-per-view 2018 calendar. Let's find out. The recent WWE news of Bobby Lashley signing to return to the WWE has fans excited about the possibilities. There are those hoping for some feuds for Lashley, such as storylines pitting him against Roman Reigns, John Cena, or Braun Strowman. Some fans are even speculating that his return to WWE will finally pay off with a run at a major championship for the former TNA and mixed martial artist. There is a strong possibility based on recent betting odds for Lashley to win a big match. The rumors may become even stronger about his title chances. As of Wednesday night, the Grosvenor Casino Sportsbook has updated odds for the large number of potential entrants into the 2019 Royal Rumble match. Big man Braun Strowman continues to lead all contenders at plus 200, with the usual names such as Roman Reigns, Styles, Cena, Lesnar just below. Strowman and Styles have never won the big match, but Reigns, Cena, and Lesnar have. The next several names on the odds listing are surprise entrants or winners are currently injured superstars. Big Cass is there, as well as Daniel Bryan, The Undertaker. However, Bryan and Undertaker have not wrestled in WWE in at least a year or more, with both seeming retired as of this report. Meanwhile, Lashley seems like he could only continue to rise in the terms of speculative value as for this match. His plus 1,200 odds have him currently above top stars of Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, and tied with the 2018 winner Shinsuke Nakamura. Lashley previous WWE run only lasted about 3 to 4 years before headed off to other endeavors. During that time, he was able to become the United States champion and won the non-defunct ECW championship, but never became the WWE champion. He competed in the 2006 edition of the Royal Rumble, or he competed in the 2006 edition of the Royal Rumble as the 8th man to enter the match, but was eliminated 6th from the match by the tag teams Kane and Big Show. The multi-time TNA champion also assisted a formerly unknown talent, Santino Marella, to capture the Intercontinental Championship as a memorable episode of Raw. If you guys don't remember that, that's probably one of the best episodes of Raw that will go down in history, when Santino won that championship from Umaga. That was crazy. Lashley also made a name for himself as Donald Trump's representative in the hair versus hair match, where he fought Umaga, Mr. McMahon's wrestler, and won, which meant a bald haircut for the boss at WrestleMania 23. Still, he could have made an even bigger name for himself by winning the Universal title or WWE Championship within the next year. I also read reports that they're actually planning, if Lesnar does leave the company, to slate Lashley into his spot as the next Brock Lesnar guy for the WWE. That's probably what's going to go down. I doubt he's going to be coming back in a full-time schedule. It'll probably be mostly part-time. But if they want to put him down as the next Brock Lesnar guy, I'd be all for it. I think the guy could even back himself up in the mic. I don't think he would need an advocate. And I think a lot of fans can get behind Bobby Lashley more than Brock Lesnar. I think definitely if they're going to bring back Bobby Lashley, they are slated for him to win a major championship title. They wouldn't bring him back if they weren't going to do that, especially now with Brock Lesnar on the way out. So I'm all hyped for Bobby Lashley to come back. I've only seen a few of his TNA matches as of late. I don't know how good he is in the ring. I know he's done a lot of MMAs. We know he's staying in ring shape. So we'll see what happens when he comes back to the WWE and what they allow and not allow him to do. So it'll be very interesting. We'll see what happens. You guys let me know what you think of the whole Bobby Lashley signing and what you would have him do. I would love to see him in a feud with Braun Strowman. That's another huge feud that they can have. Samoa Joe, maybe. Roman Reigns. There's a lot of feuds that Bobby Lashley can go through. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does coming back to the WWE. Last bit of news, guys. Update on the iconic duo, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Where the hell are they? If you're a big fan of NXT, like myself, you might have noticed that Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, the iconic duo, have been absent on television since November. Yes, it's been since November they have been on TV. Some fans believe that Royce and Kay are going to be called up, but at least the reports have revealed the real reason why the iconic duo is out of action. Okay, I read this report and I was like, oh, it's interesting. I never would have thought of that, but bear with me, guys. As recapped by WWE website, Royce was last seen on NXT TakeOver War Games in Houston last November, where she failed to capture the NXT Women's Championship. The Venus Flytrap was involved into a fatal four-way match to crown a new NXT champion, or Women's Champion, along with Ember Moon, Kairi Sane, and Nikki Cross. On the other hand, Billie Kay last appeared on the October 25th episode of NXT as she took part in a battle royal to determine the final member of the fatal four-way match. The Battle Royal was won by Cross, with Kay making several appearances on NXT live shows throughout November, but since then, both Royce and Kay have been absent from NXT television. The absence of the iconic duo has led many of their fans to believe that they are bound for the main roster. Some were expecting them to make their debuts in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match, but it did not happen. Moon and Zayn were the two NXT women superstars who appeared in this historic match. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Billie Kay underwent breast augmentation surgery. Now, if you guys don't know what that is, I'm just going to let you Google it. I'm not going to explain it right here on the podcast. You guys Google it, and this is the reason why Billie Kay is not on TV. And it is the reason why she has been absent on NXT television. It usually takes 6 weeks before someone can begin heavy lifting after a breast augmentation surgery. However, Meltzer did not mention if Peyton Royce underwent the same procedure. Sportskeeda, so take them with a grain of salt, they're not really that reliable, added to Kay's new profile on the WWE website shows her new ring gear and appearance. As for Royce, the report noted that it's quite obvious that she also had breast augmentation and surgery. So there's a quite obvious, I've seen the picture going around on Twitter. There's a quite obvious change in Peyton Royce and Billie Kay's breast area, if you can get my drift. Based on their picture she recently posted on social media. Kay and Royce have not confirmed their surgeries, but it is a possibly reason why they are not wrestling at the moment. In an interview with Fox Sports Australia back in January, NXT's head honcho Triple H revealed that Royce and Kay are going to be called up to the main roster very, very soon. WWE does not have a prominent Australian superstar on the main roster following the release of Emma. This is quote-unquote from Triple H. I don't think they're far from that. There's a certain point in time where you have a gist of all of it and it becomes getting reps, so you're comfortable with it. So when you hit that large opportunity, everybody handles it differently. Some people shrink back into it and take a couple of steps backwards, and it takes a while to get them out of the shell. Others flourish in it. We want to make sure that they have the reps, the time to be able to take that to the next level when they when they do step up, and I think that's what they are. It's just a matter of time. So Triple H is thinking that they can take that next step to the next level to give them into that top role on the main roster. I think he says it's going to take time and a little bit more reps to get there, but he believes that they are capable of doing that, and it's just a matter of time. The duo is expected to return in the next set of NXT tapings in March, possibly to set up their final program in developmental of NXT. NXT stars usually get called up after WrestleMania 34, and they could get drafted at the WWE Draft. Nevertheless, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay will give the women's division main roster a breath of fresh air. That's cool. I actually probably wouldn't bring him back to NXT television for the month of March. I would keep them off and have them come back as a huge surprise after WrestleMania 34 on the Raw or SmackDown. Mostly SmackDown, because I think they would benefit from going on SmackDown. Have them show up out of nowhere, cut a promo or something, and say they're not really on the main roster just yet. They're going to be going into the draft and maybe they show up on both shows, have a backstage segment on both shows with the women, like warning them that they're coming up or something like that, or maybe they make a plea to both GMs that they should be signing them. I think that's what you should do with the iconic duo. Maybe they go into an NXT type of taping for the next couple of weeks. We'll have to see, because we already started that. We had nothing this past week, so maybe they get brought back next week, so we'll see. But that's the news. That is the reason why that they are gone. Breast augmentation surgery. Yes, it should be quite nice to see them back in the WWE. Oh, God, I'm bad. I shouldn't say that stuff like that. I'm sorry. I apologize. There's no holds barred. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the news. That's all I got for today. Make sure you tune in to part number 2 tomorrow on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast with the big article tomorrow of current plans for John Cena at WrestleMania. Yes, we go over the ridiculous rumors of him and Rey Mysterio and other things. I have other things that have tied into John Cena's plans for his road to WrestleMania. So stay tuned for that, guys, and make sure you tune in to part number 2 tomorrow for that. So that's going to do it for WWE Headlines, guys. Part number 1, episode 10, right here on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, your Canadian wrestling podcast that talks about the WWE and No Holds Barred on anything we say, pun intended. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at No Holds Barred WP. You can follow myself at Real Kyle Masters. You can follow my co-host at Corporate Cappy on Twitter as well. You can follow us on Instagram, No Holds Barred WP as well. If you want to listen to the podcast on the go, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Spreaker is where you can find us. Spreaker is a glorious podcast app that is available for all Android and Apple devices. It is free to download, and it is free to make a profile, and you can listen to all previous episodes of the podcast and chat with us live when we're live on the air. If you want to watch any video versions of the podcast, youtube.com/NHBWR. Hit that subscribe button, that bell icon for all upload updates. You're going to get 2K content, unboxings, video versions of the podcast, all stuff like that, so make sure you subscribe to that as well. I'm your host, as always, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I will see you guys tomorrow for part number 2.